right, Chaz, welcome back to The Grit, January 23rd, 2026.
No place I'd rather be, David Lee Scales, except maybe, now that I'm being quite honest and frank, I'd rather be in Palm Springs, California.
Do you differentiate between Palm Desert, Palm Springs, La Quinta, any of that?
It is all Palm Springs to me.
Me too.
The whole thing, and I understand, I've done enough time in Greater Palm Springs, we can call it, to know that there's differences, different flavors between La Quinta and Palm Springs and Palm Desert and all of it. But you're not there for, I feel, the nuance. You're there for the warm blanket. And they're all snuggled under that warm blanket.
Wow, that is really well put. Although what doesn't snuggle under that warm blanket is Cathedral City.
Yeah, Cathedral City is one step too far.
Yeah, true. For anybody who's outside of this area, they will not know what we're talking about, but anybody who is within it will appreciate it.
I also don't include Coachella, to be quite frank, in Palm Springs. Coachella is its own thing, even though it is very much Palm Springs adjacent.
The Coachella Valley or the Coachella event?
I'm going to say the Coachella Valley. I don't think of that as Palm Springs.
Yeah, well, my parents actually... So I'm here in Palm Springs this weekend for my father-in-law's 70th birthday party. They rented a house, but my parents retired out here about 15 years ago. And it's changed so much, and I've evolved to love the place. And when they first moved out here, I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, it's desert. We rarely vacationed out there. I didn't really understand what they had fallen in love with. And now that I've spent, over a decade coming, man, I've fallen in love with it. And it has gotten better. Like the restaurants and the culture, I think is, just gotten more diverse. It used to be kind of a singular style of experience. There's phenomenal restaurants out here, great pockets of different communities. It's actually beautiful. The desert landscape is beautiful. I'm looking at the mountains right now. So I'm a huge fan.
Huge fan. Do you think that an appreciation of Palm Springs grows with age? If they know, hey, of course you don't like this, young man. You're young. Go frolic in the cities. Be out there. But there's going to be a time, and it's going to hit you, where Palm Springs is going to feel like home, and it's going to be directly related to you turning into an old man, just wanting to be warm, wanting a martini and a steak, nothing fancy, just the basics.
It is true. There is definitely some of that, but I think it's also the culture here has scaled a little bit younger too. But I can't help but deny it was always gay.
It's true. I mean, this is my second question I was going to ask you. Are you going to watch Behind the Candelabra when you're in town?
I need to. I've been meaning to. Now is the time. But the thing that you're talking about, I can't deny, because I was driving around this morning, and it's all retirement communities, basically. It's mainly retirement communities, and then other things pop up around it. But there's a certain vibe that comes with a retirement community. Everybody's just chilling. And so
Slow down.
It's a nice, slowed down vibe,
And the heat goes along perfectly with it, because you're basically wandering through, like, a weighted blanket. How you can't move fast. There's no point in moving fast. You just move the speed of being covered in a weighted blanket.
Entirely. The weighted blanket is such a good analogy or metaphor, because that's exactly what it is. There's no fast pace here.
No, nothing.
So
Don't try.
You're forced into it, and then you start to appreciate it, and it's like, man, I could totally get used to this. I'm sitting... I'll apologize for anybody who's watching this. The visuals aren't great, and also I'm sitting next to an air conditioner because my wife's inside working, and I don't want our voices to be interrupting each other, so I'm outside, and I'm looking at a golf course, and there's a golf ball right near me on the ground, which means I'm in range. So if you see me get sculled by a ball in the middle of this show, it could be the best episode ever.
Man, it would be by far our highest viewed YouTube video, that's for sure.
We could go viral with this one.
Get Austin to pitch a golf ball at your head real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So, which leads me into kind of a barrel or not. Maybe I should have saved it for barrel or not, but you know what? I am going to save it for barrel or not.
Okay.
Screw it.
Excited.
Yeah,
Listener's
get
excited too. Listener getting teased out of the gate.
It's going to be golf related. I'll give you that much. Now, in keeping with this theme of coming around to things later, the Grateful Dead, if anybody's following you on Instagram, they're following your journey of appreciation. Are you actually enjoying the music yet?
No, so I feel my way in. I'm taking this seriously, right? Like, it's the least, said it once, twice, now 3 times on this very program, maybe even 4. It's the least I can do for Bob Weir, right? Yeah. Bob Weir gave a lot to me, I guess, by listening to the podcast and not becoming internally rage-filled. The least I can do is an earnest effort at being a fan. So what I'm doing, my initial path is to get feedback, right? This is what part of the Instagram journey is putting a song on, a Grateful Dead song as background music, and then getting people to share. And I've already gotten great information from Bruce, what's his handle? Bruce Music, whatever.
I'm going to read his email in a minute.
Great. Okay, so I've had people tell me, Grateful Dead I've seen a bunch of punk shows, Grateful Dead is the most punk of them all. I'd never considered that, right? So I'm getting both DMs, comments. I'm going to do this for maybe another 10 days, then sort through all of the comments. And then I feel I will be properly armed or properly packed for my journey, for my long, strange trip.
Okay, good. The realization that I had, this could relate to Jack Johnson as well, or the Jack Johnson rant. Wait,
sure
just
don't.
wait. Just wait. Wait till I explain my realization. When you discussed your distaste of both Jack Johnson and the Grateful Dead, it was more about what the bands represent culturally. And then more specifically, it's their followers that make it annoying for you and I. So as a fan, I'll just speak to the followers of whatever you're into. Don't act like you're in a cult, basically, because you might just be inhibiting everyone else's ability to enjoy that music. And this is the exact reason why I've never been able to appreciate Journey. The first time I was ever introduced to Journey, there's a cult-like, if you're in a public space, it's a cult-like response. Stop believing. Everybody in the room goes, oh my God, this is my favorite song. And they start swaying back and forth. They even pull out a lighter and start doing it. And it's the same thing when Brown Eyed Girl comes on from Van Morrison. And every girl in the room who has brown eyes goes, oh my God, my dad used to sing this to me. And I'm like, God, your dad was unoriginal. Your dad sucks. So what I've learned, or what I'm learning through this process with you, is if you can listen to these things in a cultural vacuum, the music is not offensive. And a lot of the music is actually technically incredibly proficient. And I think if you listen to all music in a vacuum culturally, almost very little of it is actually offensive. Of course, there's going to be things that you like more than others, but very little of it is objectively offensive. It's the cult following. It's the reason I didn't like Taylor Swift forever, was I was just repulsed by the fandom. And now that I've been exposed to Taylor Swift's documentaries through my wife and enough of the music, I'm like, crap, she's a really good songwriter. When I watch her in the documentaries as a human being, she seems amazing. And now I'm listening to the music, trying to break away from my original distaste. The music's not bad, or it's definitely not offensive. So
I've had a couple thoughts on this. Two, or actually opposite, opposing viewpoints that I'm going to wrestle with. I was doing some research, pulled out an article from 2003 when the Dead were still, I think, actively active, I guess, in 2003. This person wrote basically Deadheads killed the Dead, right? That
yes,
the Dead, but it wasn't even externally, that they killed them internally, right? It was like the Dead didn't need to progress anymore musically because they had a fawning fan base that would spoon up whatever they did, right? And so they stagnated as a result of the Dead just being so into Dead stuff, right? And then the Dead kept them down because anytime, if they were going to do something new, that's not what the Deadhead wanted. The Deadhead wanted them to be the Dead that they knew, right? And so article goes on, basically, this was all a mess, right? The Deadheads and the Dead together, it was bad news. But conversely, somebody commented on my Instagram about best part of Dead and Deadhead culture is everyone is welcome on the bus, right? And as a surfer, where I don't want people welcome on the bus, certain people, and I'm not talking race, I'm not talking sex, I'm talking kook, right? I don't, and also supper, and also foiler in the lineup, and also, you know, person who rides a longboard most of the time, and or whatever, right? I want a tiny bus for surfing. So the thought that I could be part of something where I'm just as welcome as anyone else, I'm welcome as a latecomer, I'm welcome as the adult learner, I'm as welcome as anyone, made me think, well, this kind of also seems like a little bit of a utopia.
Okay.
So
right.
I'm gonna wrestle with both of those. I'm not gonna be able to wrestle, I suppose, as much with, since the band is finished, for all intents and purposes, aside from Dead and Company or whatever. Part one, I'll have to look at historically, but part two, I'm gonna go see for the first time in my life if it feels good to be part of a collective sans judgment.
Well, I think that the way that the collective develops in the early stages is part of the allure, because you're trying to find your identity as a human. You find these like-minded people. They're part of your, like, the smallness of the group, but you guys can band together is part of it. The problem is when it transitions into being the majority.
Yeah.
It's no longer minority. Now it's a majority. And the things that made them idiosyncratic and like charming are now cloying and annoying because it's a mass of people.
Yeah, and also it's it's hard to feel it as authentic when it is. I mean, it's the trouble with anything, right? Like anything that gets popular, it's difficult for it to maintain what made it popular in the first place. But again, on this journey, I'm going to go see if that big happy bus is in fact big and happy.
Okay. Well, I do want to read Bruce's email. Bruce in Austin, Chaz and David Lee, a longtime hater of the Grateful Dead, or as a longtime hater of the Grateful Dead in my high school and early college years, I resonated with many of the disparaging past comments made by Chaz Smith. I saw nothing more than a cult of hacky sack playing, poncho wearing, patchouli smell, and smoke laden van driving dirty hippies, scouring the country in pursuit of a 17-minute long versions of songs with 3 chords. However, I too changed my whole perception eventually. As a full-time musician myself, I learned that you can never not be into a band or say you dislike a band, at least as at a professional level. When you are confronted with a band you do not like, you have to admit that, quote, I'm just not into them yet. It's the safest bet and an antidote to being a hater. Music is a universal language. Sometimes you are not ready to dive into a chapter, but the book is endless, and not every page will be one of gravitas. There is always a perception and a vision in any kind of art, indifferent or magnificent. So, the song that changed everything for me is a famous rendition of China Cat Sunflower, live in Paris, 1972. The most deadliest of heads will bow down to this live recording masterpiece. Chaz, I challenge you, find a happy place, perhaps a grassy knoll overlooking your favorite beach break, kick off your Vans, get the bare feet on the grass, the hippies call it grounding, sit Indian style under the late morning sun, and let your breathing weave through the kick drum and rhythm guitar. I know we are microdosing the Dead to start. Focus on the first minute of the song, repeat and repeat. Once you lock into the groove, visualize yourself driving on PCH in the Bay Area and narrate your experience. Furthermore, I challenge you, Chaz Smith, to write a 30-second monologue, topic of your choice, and from timestamp 10 or 11 seconds where the beat drops to 40 to 41 seconds, the lyrical intro, and as the intro credit of your movie. When Jerry starts singing at 42-second mark, the title of your movie would appear on this imaginary silver screen. Keep work, Bruce from Austin, Texas.
I'm going to do all of this, Bruce. I will document it for your sake and put this somewhere. I love the specificity of this advice, right? It's not, hey, because I've been getting a lot of, and thanks to everyone who has DM'd, like I'm making a catalog of everyone has not a different favorite song. Of course, there's, repeat I'm learning that they're, whatever. A lot of people like similar Dead songs, whatever. But I'm cataloging all of this. Bruce's specificity, though, of how to do it, where to do it, why you're doing it, with a little homework assignment, is just like, I feel this is exactly what I need for this journey.
We often glean these kind of insights from our mentors who are masters at their thing, and it gives us kind of direct access to the front of the line.
I mean, absolutely. And this podcast in particular, how many times have we gone half-cocked on something and then gotten such great advice from a master in the field?
All the time.
All the time. And this is yet another one of those, but this one is profound, and I'm going to do it all. I'm going to take the exact medicine that Dr. Bruce prescribed.
Well, that is part of the joy of my work, exactly what you just said. And the other part that makes it even more fulfilling is I actually met Bruce in Austin, Texas, at the wave pool, the Doug Coors wave pool that Kelly since bought and is retrofitting. I met Bruce there in like 2018.
Amazing. Did you just happen to meet? Bruce happened to be there surfing whilst you were there surfing.
I don't know if I advertised that I was going to be there, and maybe he came for that reason. I definitely didn't advertise that I was going to be there at a certain time. So it might have been more coincidental, but he surfed that pool regularly. Me and my buddies had just gotten out of the water, and I was walking back up to get changed or whatever, and he was sitting at the bar having a beer. And he's like, "Hey man, I'm Bruce from Austin. I've emailed you before." And I'm like, "No freaking way, dude." And so we chatted for a few minutes.
Bruce from Austin, anytime he emails, not with every email, and not even with very many emails, do I have an exact picture of the person in my mind when they email. Bruce, I have an exact picture in my mind. I've never seen Bruce. I have zero idea if this is correct. Can I share my picture with you, and then you can correct me? I picture Bruce as hefty, not fat, but like good size. A good sized man. Jeans, like a plaid unbuttoned shirt, beard, yellowish, not yellow, but not a dark beard, like a light beard, and a trucker hat.
Wow, not far off. I don't think he was hefty or portly at all. I don't remember him being
trim.
I don't remember him being trim. I don't remember him being hefty. He's like right in the middle.
Okay.
Like probably doesn't hit the gym, but enjoys tacos and beer, but doesn't
go
is
crazy.
Not out of control.
Yeah.
Black beard.
Okay.
So
Close.
full beard, like you thought, sunglasses, and I think longer hair, but I definitely think he had a hat on when I saw him.
Yeah, longer hair under a hat.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
funny. And
Okay.
definitely flannel wearing, jeans wearing.
Okay, good. I feel good. I feel good about my relationship with Bruce, that I could have a mostly okay picture in my mind from reading Bruce's words.
Yeah, all black instead of,
Yeah.
and I think even the clothing is mostly black.
Okay. So he's like one of those Clint Black sorts, one of the black cowboys. And not black as in racially black. Black as in those cowboys who wear black, like Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Well, great to hear from you, Bruce. Glad you're still listening after all these years. His surf sessions are probably few and far between now that they gutted that first pool. But
You go to Waco. How far is Waco again from Austin, Texas?
2 hours.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
not that bad.
All right. Well, so my reason I wanted to read that email was mainly because of his thing, "I'm just not into it yet," quote unquote. I find that to be so true with so much of life. That is exactly what I was trying to communicate about Palm Springs as well. It's like, I never should have discounted it in the first place. There's a reason it's become, why it's always been so popular among a certain group of people, and it just took a while for me to come around to it.
I mean, is this going to affect our ability to perform this show, David Scales? I feel that the idea that very little is objectively bad, this whole show's premise is that there is good and bad, right? We will tell you what is bad We will bag on what is bad, etc., etc. If we adopt wholeheartedly the objectively, most things are neither good or bad. It's just a matter of learning to appreciate it or appreciating it. I'm going to have to kick against those goads and say, nope. With music, I will grant you that. Bruce, I will grant you that I really tried when I went, and my whole goal in the Great Dead debate with one Britt Merrick was to prove that the Grateful Dead was objectively bad. I did a horrible job doing so, maybe because music there's no objectively bad music.
Exactly.
But there is
it was a
objectively
failed
bad
premise
surfing.
from the get-go.
Yeah, surfing, there is objectively bad food, there is objectively bad fashion, on and on down the line. Maybe music is singular in its, just I don't appreciate it yet kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well, I think that you're right about the premise of the show. That was kind of part of the premise of the show unintentionally, but I think the secondary premise is communicating and you and I negotiating with one another why we like or dislike those things. And through that process, I think we always land on the exact opposite of the original premise, which is,
greater appreciation.
Yeah, deeper appreciation. And I don't know. So we'll continue with that. In surf news, are you still boycotting watching Stab's content? And have you or have you not watched Stab in the Dark?
I've never boycotted it per se. Like I had, of course, initial beef with, what Stab is, what they're doing, but all of that has well faded, and I just find myself not interested at all in what they're doing. I know that is more an indictment of me than it is of what they're producing, but I just have no interest. I literally have no interest what board Kelly's going to pick, to be quite frank. Like, I feel Kelly is the worst choice to be the Stab in the Dark person, because I feel Kelly will just do things and he won't even know it that he's doing it, but I think Kelly will do provocative things on purpose, right? Just like riding a crazy ass weirdo board that made him go bad during his comeback on tour, right? Or his most recent comeback on tour. What was he riding? He was riding a shape that everyone knew was making him bog rail.
What do you mean? Just did it. I'm not sure what you mean by most recently. Like 10 years ago, or?
Yeah, like 10-ish,
it was
10-ish years ago when he was like.
For me, what I think of, so I identified that moment as when he got on Firewire, basically. So there was a event, I want to say it was Bell's Beach, where he then had a Simon Anderson that he rode in a couple of different heats, and that board looked infinitely better, and he won those heats.
Yeah, but it wasn't just the construction of his Firewire boards, it was the shape of them too, right? He was purposefully doing something strange. And I feel that him as a test pilot for Stab in the Dark, you're not going to get anything. I don't know how much real you get from Kelly Slater. I don't even know how much real Kelly Slater thinks he gives, right? How much truth and honesty versus how much of it is all just a weird peek into an odd mind, right? And so whether he picks Mayhem or whether he picks Channel Islands or whether he picks, DHD or whoever else, I think is entirely immaterial and random. Like, Kelly surfing those boards and picking one is the same as putting them all into a hat and picking one and saying, oh, this is the winner.
Well, the reason why you should watch episode 1, if you have a Stab Media premium membership, is there's no Kelly Slater in it. It's only...
What happened there? Did they just not get enough footage?
No. I'm sure they got plenty of footage. They've just decided to put the focus on the shapers, basically.
But okay, so that says to me, you have plenty of footage of Kelly Slater. That says to me the footage. There's no way they did that on purpose. This is we gotta pivot here. We're gonna play the cards we were dealt. There is no way this was a honest to goodness production decision going in.
It was a production decision in post, but not for the reasons that you think. It wasn't to do with footage being good or not good. It is, after watching this for 10 different iterations, I think for 10 years even, this might be the single best episode I've seen yet. And it's because they got the shapers in the room together, which they've never done before. And we're hearing from the shapers themselves, which you can probably attest to are more interesting people than professional surfers are. So hearing these guys share their insights, anecdotes, thoughts about the surfer, thoughts about the boards, why they designed the boards, what they think of each other's boards was all super fascinating. And those guys are such interesting characters, each and every one of them.
That is absolutely true. I 100% believe that or back that. But I don't know why you would do that for the Kelly Slater episode, right? Like, it seems like something went wrong, and great. They came up with a great plan that essentially, you know, I mean, I would imagine, because I've heard that the Shapers are, you know, that's the best part of it, et cetera, et cetera. I think I asked Gen C, who I think subscribes, if people were mad that Kelly was not being featured. And they were like, nope, nobody seems mad in the comments because the Shapers are, you know, that's what you want to see anyway. That's way more interesting than whatever Kelly would say or do. But I wonder if this is the future of Stab in the Dark, because how many times can you continue to do this? I wonder if it's just getting Shapers in a room, but they all also now they've got the kind of best Shapers. It's hard to redo this thing.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get better than this one. And I think the Kelly will provide super interesting insights down the road. Like, there will be 6 episodes and there will be Kelly heavy focused, I think. But this was just a setup for those. And in the past, I've complained we don't get to hear enough from the Shapers. And even if we do hear from them, it's a one-on-one interview with them, and it's never them talking about one another. And so that was kind of the most interesting thing was we know DHD is a gruff character and he has opinions, strong opinions. We know Matt Biolis is a gruff character and has strong opinions. Britt Merrick has turned into a gruff character. Which is interesting. Like, that alone is an interesting narrative arc, character arc, because, you know, how did he go from being a pastor to now being this? You know, it's fascinating. So hearing him call people out face to face is all super interesting fodder. So super strong episode. I learned a lot about surfboards actually through the episode. I was a big fan. So again, revisit your previously held ideals, and borrow Jen's login info and check it out.
Okay, but real quick though, back to you're looking forward to what Kelly Slater says about boards. Are you?
Yeah, I am totally.
Why? What do you think that Kelly's going to say that isn't either smoke or provocative weirdness or something that he hasn't really considered? Like, I feel that Kelly Slater is such a athletic freak, or such a surf freak, that he's got, you know, he has ideas and opinions, and he knows. I'm not discounting what he knows. I'm sure he knows a ton. I also think none of that is has any value outside of for Kelly Slater.
Yeah, I like hearing anybody talk about boards, and I glean different insights from each of them that, you know, I'm not saying necessarily that I'm going to be able to implement in my own surfing. I just find it to be interesting.
What you find it interesting that's what Kelly thinks. Or the problem with Kelly though is that what Kelly thinks, or is that just what Kelly is saying he's thinking? Right? I feel that other people I trust, if Rasta sits down and says something about a board or says something about anything, I'll be like, yep, that's what Rasta thinks. If Kelly sits down and says something about anything, I think that's either what Kelly thinks, or that's what Kelly is trying to pretend to think, or who knows, a great wrapped up mystery, that Kelly Slater.
I think what you may be tapping into is he always has a financial agenda or a marketing agenda. And that's definitely a part of this, which is the premise was, let's get previous winners of Stab in the Dark all together to do basically a champions versus one another. So they did that, and then they shoehorned in a Firewire shaped by Dan Mann. And that was actually mandated by Kelly as majority owner of Firewire. He said, I won't participate in this unless we include a Firewire surfboard. So that is problematic, and it undermines the legitimacy of the competition itself. But kind of a side note on that, I think it's actually a poor marketing decision, because if the Firewire wins, it looks like the fix was in, and if Firewire doesn't win, it looks like, well, then
They
Dan
suck.
Mann, Dan Mann shouldn't be shaping your surfboards. You know, the winners should have been shaping your surfboards all along. Kelly, you haven't been riding the best boards. So I think that was a poor choice by Firewire to do that. But to the point of marketing, this is really going to become a commercial for endorphins, because the other mandate for the boards was that they each had to have 5 fin boxes, which I thought was weird. Because it's like, if you're designing these Ferraris that are literally tailored to the liter, they all had to be 28.5 liters. Might have been 25.5. It was a very small volume. They're tailored to the exact liter, right? But then you're going to throw 5 fin boxes in and be like, ride them as a quad if you want, or just ride them as a thruster if you want. You pick. I'm like, that seems so bizarre to get it super fine detail and then leave it up to the rider to choose in the end on what style. Because, by the way, those fin boxes would be in different positions. If you want to design a quad, you would design the tail differently and you would put the boxes in a different position. If you want to design a thruster, you would do that slightly differently. So making him in middle ground for the rider to be able to choose is a bizarre choice, but what it's going to become is a commercial for endorphins.
So you nailed my point exactly. Way cleaner and clearer than I did, which is that, right? Like, and so then exactly what you said then throws the entire exercise into not chaos per se, but just nonsense, right? Like, these guys shaped super specific boards with the weird 5 fin boxes that then, Kelly can promote. But so all of it just seems like nonsense at this point. Like, you should have just let them do it. Wouldn't have seemed like nonsense if they had to have 5 fin boxes, but the shaper got to shape whatever they wanted, right?
Right.
Not down to the leader.
Right. Yeah. Well, so throw out the idea that this is going to be an objective exercise and find a world champ, quote unquote, shaper. That doesn't matter anymore, but it's still entertaining.
Okay.
It's entertaining to hear the shapers and get to know their personalities a little bit better. And then it's also going to be entertaining to hear Kelly Slater's thoughts on the individual boards.
How much more meat is there, do you think, on the stab in the dark bone? Do you think that they will, like, who's a good band that retired early? Will they retire it, or will they just keep milking this thing forever? Yeah. Will they beetle it, or will they just stab in the dark now, year 20, and we have whatever it is?
I think it just comes down to whether or not they can think of slight reinventions or iterations on it. Because I think the first 3 or 4 were pretty similar to one another. But they've evolved the concept a lot over the years. And this is totally different than the previous ones. So if they run out of ideas on iteration, then it could be time to retire.
I guess nothing lasts forever. Oh, I mean, is American Idol still going on? Or is American Idol in season 46, or did that thing actually get canceled?
I don't know the answer to that. It's definitely not at the, height of its influence and popularity as it once was.
I mean, I wonder if there's just a core, if there's a core audience though for, they want to hear shapers talk, they want to see a surfer pick a board, and you could just roll that out year on year, and it's not going to grow, but it'll always have kind of a base of people interested.
I don't know either, but I do think everything does run its course over time.
Sure does.
So there was also a rumor, speaking of stab, they dropped a rumor this morning, I think, that JBay is going to be canceled off tour. Did you see this, or do you have any insights into it?
I saw the headline, and my first thought when I saw that headline is, oh man, Beach Crate used to break stuff, didn't it? But no, I haven't heard a thing. I had a secondary thought too. I went over to the World Surf League website for the first time in a while. I used to visit here a lot, right? And I looked at it, and there was some Australian won in the juniors competition. It was something surf newsy, and I was like, man, I profoundly don't care. Like, I don't care so much that this is hurting my eyeballs to look at this. I'd rather be looking at anything else than World Surf League surf news right now.
Could be a sign that you're aging out.
Yep.
It could just be a sign of that, or it could be a sign of that has run its course too. Like, we don't care about the competition surfing anymore, just collectively. But I think it also I've heard that sentiment mirrored from a lot of listenership. And in fact, this morning, as I was going through the listener line calls, one guy even said, I'm tired of hearing you guys saying, oh, there's no surf news, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you know what's surf news? What you're writing. He's like, I want to hear what you guys are actually writing. And I've heard that over and over and over the years is people want to hear from us.
Well, guess what, David Lee
Tell me.
Scales? I got something to say. Guess what I've been on for the last 10 days, 10 surfs, I'll say.
Something you, quote, borrowed?
Nope. The Hoyo, the Naked Viking Surf Hoyo, or not Hoyo, sorry. Shane Haran fin, which is the strangest looking fin that I've ever put into a board. And I thought, this thing is going to feel funky. It's going to feel weird. I don't know that I'm going to like it. Maybe it had to do, the waves have been kind of fat, but also fun if you can get speed. My goodness gracious. I've had so much fun on those fins. They are fast.
What are you riding them in? Which board?
Just the Soma, the Super Mini.
Really? Mm-hmm. Really? So it's a lot of fin for a small board.
A lot of fin for a small board that's making it go so fast that I'm just loving it. It's weird. Can
you identify what the different feeling is? Or can you articulate it?
It feels
is
like
it just speed?
It feels like acceleration out of the gate. That board was already fast, right? I mean, the whole point of it, I think, is to be fast. But I'll see like a crumbly section down the line, and particularly with the Shane fin in, I just like race right through it. It like plows through and gets to the other side. And I'm like, whoa! Now I'm back to the face. This is fun.
Is it maneuverable in a different way, or is it just speed?
No, that's the thing. For some reason, and I don't know how, that long fin, and for those who don't know, it is a long fin. I mean, how would you describe it?
It's like a mast on a sailboat.
Yeah, it's like a mast on a sailboat. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to turn this thing. It is just as turnable as
not a mast. What's the fin at the bottom of a sailboat?
Oh, the keel.
The keel fin. Okay, I didn't mean a mast. I meant a keel. But the keel normally when we refer to keel on a surfboard, it's long and short. The height is short and it's long. The base is long. The keel on a sailboat is the opposite. It's actually a lot longer than it is. I'm sorry, a lot taller than it is long. So the Shane Haran looks like the keel on a sailboat, basically.
Yeah, long things. Long things.
Height.
But maneuvers, but like feels as maneuverable as the other fins I was riding, which were also Naked Viking. I can't remember which ones, the ones you had.
The Sea Drives?
Yeah, Sea Drives.
So the weird thing too about the Shane fins, I've never ridden them. I have a set. I've had the set for a year and I've just never ridden them. Is the back is not cut out.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a triangle, but I'm not a triangle, a rectangle. The bottom of the rectangle is a little bit wider than the top of the rectangle, but it doesn't have the cutaway C out of the back of it. And then it also, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't have a concave on the inside foil.
No, I really struggled if I was putting them in the right way or not. Like there was no real discernible, oh, oops, which one's the left one, which one's the right one.
Yeah, so I think there is a little bit of a cant on the fin, which would that would be how you would identify which one's the left and the right. But there isn't. It's foiled like a single fin would be foiled, basically. So there's a convex foil on both the inside of the fin and the outside of the fin. And I don't know what Shane's original idea for that design was. I actually talked to him about it. I just forget what he said. But it kind of runs in contrast or in complete antithesis to what we think of as modern twin fin design.
Absolutely. And it makes me oddly, and I know this is the wrong thing to do, but it makes me want to throw out in the high performance, the CI Pro, and to see how it makes that thing go.
Or if he makes a tri-fin version, or if you ever considered a tri-fin version of that same style of fin.
They have one?
No, I'm wondering if he's ever even considered it.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me want to say, I mean, my fin journey is almost as recent as my Grateful Dead journey, but the world of fins, man, I mean, for a fraction of the cost of a new board, you change your entire surfing feeling.
Exactly. Yeah, you expand your quiver basically.
Yeah.
So to answer the listener's question about what we're riding, I am getting a new surfboard today
Wow. In Palm Springs.
in Palm Springs. Actually, my brother-in-law is driving it out to me. But it, because I felt bad about you borrowing album surfboards and never returning them, I placed an order.
Bought an album full pop just to make up. So he got 50%. He got a 50% cost from the Grit surfboards.
I don't know if he even charged me full pop, to be honest, but it's the Jack Freestone model. It's called a Free Wing. So I have not ridden a high performance shortboard, or I haven't ordered a high performance shortboard in a very, very long time. But I've got a Nicaragua trip on the books for April, and that's the right board to ride there, basically. And so I figured I should have one with some ping and liveliness to it.
Question. Okay, so what have you been on typically over the last, let's say, what have you ridden this past year?
Twin fins, mainly just twin fins. Mainly a fish and a 6'6" yin yang.
Okay, so I'm feeling a little bit in a rut right now of, I ride the same, I'm going, these days basically it's that super mini is all I ride, and I know I'm riding it, and the waves are getting punchier and bigger, winter, et cetera, and I'm riding it in wrong conditions often, where I'm trying to think, well, the mid is fun. I like that mid. Channel Islands mid, fantastic, but I'm trying to think of what am I missing in my quiver?
I don't know. That's up to you, and we're all on our own individual journey. Like we've talked about in the past, the gaps are getting narrower and narrower, but you can always find a little credit card thickness of a gap. And so that's where this comes in for me, where it's like a high performance thruster, except it's got volume. It's got more volume under the chest. There's a little wing in the tail to break away from that volume, so you still get maneuverability. So it's kind of like old guy aging, but still want to rip.
It's absolutely appropriate then that you are getting it delivered to Palm Springs.
Exactly. Well, there's a pool here you could test it in.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. So I'll let you know. I'll give feedback on how that goes.
Yeah, and any listener out there, field listeners know how I surf, where I surf, why I surf. Anyone have any advice on a board that I should add? What I'm missing out on? Love to hear.
I think the question for you is just, what do you want to do?
I want to go fast still, but I want it to feel different. I want it to feel looser. I feel like I want something looser right now.
So you want to be doing turns and banking
Loosey
off
turns,
sections and getting the tail loose a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you ever get any boards from Dane Hance at Vulcan?
I did. I have two boards from him. I have both of them borrowed. One's a gun. I think he actually gave me both of them. Thanks, Dane. One's a gun, and one's that weird tombstone. One's like, not a gun. It'd be like a gun for here, right? Like step up. Like a 6. I call it my gun. It's like 6'4" pintail.
Okay, nowhere near.
No, not a gun. My gun. A gun for the kind of the size of waves that I consider big. The second one is that like weirdo square thing, the rectangle thing. The bull shark. I can't remember what he calls it.
Yeah, I can't remember what he called that either.
Yeah.
And did you like that board?
I never really got a very comfortable on it. Maybe I should bust that one back out and give it another go.
That's exactly what you need to do. Because I got one board from one time. I think it was the Dragonfly model. So it looks like a high performance fish. It's like a kind of modified fish. And it was a quad setup, and I hated it for 5 sessions. Like, was committed. The thing was so beautiful and cool looking. Like, I was committed to wanting to like it. And it took, could not figure it out for 5 sessions. And I couldn't even tell you why. It might have been 4 sessions, because it was the 5th session where suddenly everything just came together, and it turned into my favorite board in one session. But it had exactly what you're talking about, where it was like tons of speed and drive, but I would like bank into a section and the tail would slide a bit, and then it would kind of, but it had tons of control because of the 4 fins. And I was like, absolutely love that board.
You know the board I'm talking about, right? The shape
Yeah.
of the board I'm talking about. What is the point and or purpose of that shaped board?
I don't know that board design very well. I mean, the idea with this, the idea with the straight outline and the flatness is speed.
Sure.
But I don't know why he had the nose squared off, and I don't know
It's like
what fin setup he was running on it.
It's like a Tomo Gone Extreme.
Yeah. Does it have the concave in the deck rail? Like that corrugated rail?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I it's been a long time since I've looked at those boards. I'd have to look at that again and remember what his thoughts on it were.
Push it hop back on. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that would actually, that'd be like a brand new board to you.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't ridden that thing in years.
Well, shout out to Dane. He got out of the business probably 2 or 3 years ago, but he was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, incredible guy too.
Totally agree. One of my favorites. So we'll get back into surfboards later. I do want to just have a comment about JBay going away on tour. We hate to see it, of course, because it's a world-class wave, one of the greatest waves in the world. And the Stab Magazine's article basically said it's just a financial issue. It costs basically $4 million to run that event, and a lot of other events on tour cost around $2 million. So unless you can have sponsors covering the cost, which they haven't been for years, or actually they had Corona, so maybe Corona's not footing the full bill.
Yeah,
then it just
sure
becomes,
that whoever's sponsoring it is not footing the full $4 million.
right. And then so what happens with other events throughout the world is if there isn't a sponsor, at least the government helps offset costs, and that's just not going to happen in South Africa. So I thought, we hate to see it, bummer, but I understand the economics of it. Then my second thought was, there's so many world-class waves that don't have the legacy of a JBay or a Cloudbreak that are not far away from there. Like there's endless long points in Africa, not just South Africa, that if they really wanted to just spend a little bit of time in R&D, they could run events there for probably a fraction of the price. Mozambique,
Here's another thought that I have too with the JBay dropping off is, okay, all fine and good. I mean, I totally hear you. It's a world-class wave. So while JBay is a historic wave, right? I mean, iconic wave, classic wave, superlatives don't go far enough. I wouldn't mind a one-off JBay. Who is the best JBay rider in the world, right? Where if they threw a contest there that wasn't traditional shortboard, open it up, right? To what kind of, that wave is such a beautiful canvas. What kind of surfing looks best there from any kind of age?
Yeah, I like it. But who's going to fund it?
I mean, something like that, you could almost just do a, hey, if you get here, surfer, we'll have a Corona, again, since they've been attached, put up a $10,000 purse.
Yeah.
You kind of pay your own way to get over here, whatever. Like it could be low key at the start. It's just a one-off JBay. Who is the best JBay surfer in the world? It could be all South African as far as I care.
Yeah, I've always liked the idea of the expression session kind of, we don't need to put a bunch of rules and trappings on it, because Jordy is incredible out there, but Mike February is incredible out there too, riding totally different things. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, something like this, you could almost have it'd be so small where you wouldn't have to worry about, Chinese click farms tainting it. You could almost just do everybody just vote, right? Watch this and vote. Who's the best surfer? Who owns JBay?
Well, the reason why I was saying open it up to a bunch of other waves is because those Rip Curl search events, part of what was so killer about those was seeing a fresh wave, seeing those pros take on a wave that we had seen like maybe a couple of free surfers surf before, but seeing that level of competition at Barra or at Erica in Chile, like that was all, there was an element of kind of like freshness and newness to the tour at those events every season.
The best one ever was Barra, I feel. I mean, obviously, that's a silly thing to say because it was so true, but man, did that wave pump, and man, did that wave look good.
I don't know if we talked about this on air or not, but somebody posted, one of the accounts on Instagram posted footage of that event recently, footage of Andy Irons surfing in that event. And it was still so incredible to watch 12 or 15 years later or whatever it is, how much, how radical he was in powerful surf that was double and triple overhead.
Cranking.
And somebody, did you see that footage?
I mean, I've seen that Andy footage a lot. I haven't seen it super recently, but I definitely need to go back and review.
Seeing it recently reiterates why he was, the guy that he was in the culture's eyes. But basically, there was somebody who commented in the comments said, I was out there that session, and there's the rocks and the double up kind of takeoff. Like, people are sitting kind of off the rocks, trying to like free fall drop into that section. Andy took off from behind the rocks, would get shacked through that below sea level kind of gurgling barrel part, and he'd come out and he'd be bottom turning where we were all thinking we should be dropping in. He'd be bottom turning, looking at the lip, and the lip is like squared out barrel, and he'd blast fins through that portion of the lip, and it was like, oh my God, whatever. These were pros who were surfing it the way that he's describing it. And Andy went out and like did triply as difficult version of what the pros were doing.
To have that much force in your turn and also that much confidence, I'm going to wave fighting. I'm going to fight this wave and I'm going to win. Anytime I'm doing a bottom turn on anything, not even remotely as heavy as Barra, anything like a 4-footer, right? Where it's like, ooh, plus size for me. And if it has a lip and I'm looking at the lip, the thought in my head is I'm going to go hit this lip and this lip is going to buck me. I got nothing. And inevitably I go and try and either pull my punch or get bucked or whatever. I never destroy that lip. And rarely do you see anybody destroy lips, even great surfers. If it's a little bit bigger, rarely are you seeing guys go up and bah and just sending spray, right? There's a lot of like up to the top and then quickly back down. But just nobody's blowing up the back.
No. And it was a legit, if it's anything other than a crumbly lip and I see it lifting, like kind of getting in that position, I'm going to kick stall and try to get barreled.
Yeah.
Like that, even if it's like not a real barrel. Like, that's my only thought. I'm never going toe-to-toe with a thing. Yeah, and he was going toe-to-toe with it, and it was like triple, to me it looked triple overhead and fully square.
Yeah.
So, really something to see. Anyways, JBay will be on tour this season, but potentially not in the future based on those rumors. Final little bit of surf news. Did you see Pedro Scooby's McDonald's commercial the last 24 hours?
I sure didn't. How did I miss this?
It's out there. You will see it immediately after we hang up. Basically, it's a Brazilian commercial, and it's him getting barreled in a red McDonald's wetsuit with the Golden Arches logo in an AI-generated barrel of cheddar cheese to advertise their new hamburger that you dip into a bucket of cheddar cheese.
Okay, all fine and good for Pedro Scooby. Let's talk about this. I've seen Applebee's, I do believe, advertising a burger that comes cut in half in a skillet of melted cheese.
Wow, I have not seen that.
Okay, so this means that this is now zeitgeisty, right? If both Brazilian McDonald's and Applebee's US are doing somebody's market tested this. I love cheese, right? There's a cheeseburger place. Just took the kid to the movie theater yesterday. She watched Avatar, Smoke and Ash, whatever it's called, which her ballet buddies, it's her one ballet day off. Ballet buddy's dad said, hey, I'll get tickets for the girls. I was like, great. So I dumped her off, and he was like, you going to watch it with us? And I said, oh, I had an appointment because I was going to go surf. But then I thought, I hate Avatar. All my hatred for the Grateful Dead can now go straight into Avatar. I hate everything about Avatar. I loathe Avatar with every part of my being. I hate James Cameron for directing Avatar. I hate Sam Worthington for being in Avatar. I hate the blue people. I hate where they go. I hate their stupid hippie religion thing. I hate that tree. I hate that they use papyrus font on everything in their stupid Avatar world. I loathe Avatar. But next door to the theater, as I was scampering out so as not to have to watch Avatar, saw this, I think it's a chain called Melt, right? And the whole thing is, it's like, seems like we're going to go double cheese on our burgers. And I thought, that looks good. A real cheesy cheeseburger looks really, really good. You lose me when you suspend the cheeseburger in a skillet of cheese. That's like, even for me who loves a cheesy cheeseburger, too much cheese.
That's the thing, like, the DMs that I got from the Pedro Scooby thing, they were poking fun at Pedro. That was not my problem with it at all.
No.
My problem was the offensiveness of dipping a hamburger or a cheeseburger into a bucket of cheddar cheese, which also is not cheese. Once you're putting it in a bucket, it's like hydrogenated oil that's mixed with, there's no chance it's real cheese, because the quantity that you would have to melt down is economically not feasible to sell it for a reasonable price. But even if it was, you're overwhelming all of the beauty of the elements of the cheeseburger with too much cheese.
I mean, let's just be quite frank. Cheeseburgers are the strawberries of the food world, right?
The cooked food world.
Of the cooked food world. There is nothing that I was trying to think, okay, what would I like to dip a cheeseburger in? Would I like to dip a cheeseburger in ranch dressing? Nope. Would I like to dip a cheeseburger in ketchup? Nope. I want the ketchup on the burger. I don't want to dip it in. I was just like, nothing, some things like a good ranchy bite of a cheeseburger might taste okay, but you don't want the whole thing dipped in ranch, right? Like, where it just is, the cheeseburger is perfect by itself. Needs nothing.
The ratio of ingredients is the beauty of the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Once you mask it with a dip into something else, it overwhelms and nullifies all of the ratio. So, good for you for cashing that check, Pedro, but disgusting.
Disgusting. You shouldn't have, McDonald's aside, whatever aside, you just shouldn't have taken that gig. You should have said, give me anything else. Give me your fish fillet. Give me your whatever weirdo Brazilian thing. I love, when you're overseas, I know you're not a McDonald's eater, but when you're overseas, do you like to venture into a McDonald's to see, what do they got here? What do they got in Belgium, for example? What do they have in Rio de Janeiro? I know what they have in Australia. The McDonald's menus are weird. Everybody knows, but they genuinely are weird.
I'm interested to see it when they publish it on the internet, but I'm not interested in going in and eating it.
Okay.
I'd be interested if they had a beer.
Yeah. That's where
the countries where they have a beer. That's good enough for me.
Okay. Well, you and I are going to part ways there. I haven't done it in a while, but next time I'm overseas, I'm going into a McDonald's, ordering up.
We got a Pros in the Wild.
Great.
Comes from a mutual friend of yours and mine, but he doesn't identify himself in the email, so I will leave him anonymous. He said, I'm surfing a relatively remote break in San Diego County on a 6-foot-plus day. It was at the end of a long run of swell, and people must have been surfed out because I found myself on this particular peak by myself. After about an hour, I caught my fill of waves and was waiting for a wave in. The wave of the day approached from the horizon. As I turned to paddle for the wave, I saw a strange silhouette paddling for the wave 50 yards deeper than me. Dude had a weird hat on and a weird asymmetrical surfboard with an alien-looking nose. Hold on, I gotta get my media drop ready. Forgot I prepped something for this one.
Yes.
Okay. Back at it. Had a weird asymmetrical surfboard with an alien nose on. It sort of looked like Stevie Janowski on his first day at Myrtle Beach.
I never thought I'd be in Myrtle Beach.
You like that?
Love it.
I was sure that he was too deep, so I kept paddling for the wave. As I go to stand up, I see that Stevie has taken off, so I let him go. He proceeds to shred the wave, hat and all. He paddles back out, past where I'm sitting. I say, "Hey, sick wave, man. I thought you were too deep." He said, "Thanks." And I realized it was Tony Alva.
Oh, wow. I was trying to think, who is this Stevie Janowski? I had settled mostly on Damien Hobgood, but Tony Alva.
Damien as Stevie Janowski is kind of incredible.
It is. It's pretty good.
Did you just come up with that?
Well, kind of, but I also had just seen Anytime, and I mean anytime, and this has happened twice, that I am at the right spot on the right day in anywhere in North County. Damo's either in the water or getting out of the water.
Okay.
I was just finally breaking right down where I normally surf and saw Damo coming up the Rams. It's fun out there. Yeah, Damo would be a good Stevie.
I mean, Damo in his prime, you can't even compare him to Stevie, but Damo nowadays has a little bit of Janowski going on. Wow, doppelganger. I got a couple of doppelgangers that have been sitting in the hopper. I just haven't shared them with you, and so we'll add that to it, and we'll do some visuals next week.
Do you think that Damo is hyped on his doppelganger?
No. No, this is not a favorable one. Sorry, Damo. No offense. We're huge fans of Stevie Janowski and huge fans of him too. So there's that. But Tony Alva got the free pass with the fedora about a month ago. One of the very few who got the free pass, and the fact that he's wearing, I'm going to say it in the lineup. Yeah. Our listener didn't specify the type of hat, but I'm just going to go out there and I will claim that it was a fedora. Wearing a fedora in the lineup and shredding in it can only be done by Tony Alva.
It's so true. It is so true. Tony, congrats. I mean, I would imagine maybe, and I don't know for a fact because I'm not deep in the skate world, but I wonder if Tony Alva is the Tom Curran to them. Like, he floats in weird. He, breathes in, breathes out. He doesn't seem quite as weird to me as Tom, or as lovingly weird too.
I think he's a little bit more predictable.
Yeah. Well, Tony, and I think on his business game a bit more. Like, I see Tony Alva come marching into the boardroom show, with you could tell, like, businessy, investory people doing the thing. Or if you saw Tom Curran walking into the boardroom, he would be accidentally lost because he was supposed to be at the sheep herding thing at the convention center next door, and just oops. Well, I went to the wrong one. Went to the wrong exhibit hall.
I understand why you made the comparison initially, but now that we think about it a little bit more deeply,
it's not true.
Not true. Yeah, not true at all. Tony's been in the same Tony lane for decades.
Yeah.
Tom Curran's been on an astral plane. He's been back down in the carpool lane. He's been in the slow lane. He's been riding a boat off at sea. Like, he's all over the place. Okay, well, good pro in the wild. Glad to hear that Tony's still shredding in the water, and thank you. I've got so much more that I need to share, but we're running out of time, so let's go to commercial break. We'll come back with a poem and a barrel, 3 barrelers or not. All right, Chaz, welcome back.
Great. It's a great day for a podcast. In
an unconventional show structuring, we're going to finish with the poem instead of barrel or not. We're going to go through barrel or not, then finish with a poem.
Good. I mean, I feel that poetry, especially on this show, deserves the seat of honor.
Okay, good. Me too. Barrel or not. Taping a photo of a bare-chested Shane Dorian to my fridge to keep me from being a fat slob.
Did you do this?
Nope. Came from a listener.
Listener submitted.
But have you seen Shane Dorian in the last couple months?
No, is he looking jacked?
I mean, he was looking fit for the last decade. He is looking jacked now.
But so the problem with this is, and this is not me hating on Shane Dorian. This is, I feel like us culturally, Mar-a-Lago face on the women, right? Shane Dorian's going down to get all kinds of crazy, weird stuff. I don't know if it's crazy or weird, but like whatever's going on in Mexico, let's call it, right? So then I look at a picture of him crazy jacked, And is that natural? It's clearly not natural. You're getting, whatever it is. What's his stem cells? What's he getting down there in Mexico?
Yeah, he was doing stem cell thing.
Yeah.
I think I thought the stem cell thing was for injury, for back injury that he had or something.
Yeah, I mean, ostensibly, sure. But it's like I'm taking steroids for my acne, and then I'm also getting super strong because I'm going to the gym, right? Like the stem cell, I think, is growth and all that as much as it is anything. So sure, it can heal stuff, but then it's not like you can, I got the stem cells tailored to my back cartilage or whatever's in your back. All to say, when I see, or like Brian Johnson, now look at us finally remembering the most boring name in the entire world. I look at Brian Johnson and I think I want to look nothing like that. Sure, I guess you look young for a 60-year-old or wherever you are, but you look weird, right? And maybe it's just me getting old, but so I'm going to say no barrel on Shane Dorian today. I'm going to say, unless you are going to go down if you want to put young Shane Dorian, if you want to put Shane Dorian from In God's Hands on your fridge, have at it. Hunky, sexy, prime Shane Dorian, not Joe Rogan Jack Shane Dorian, please.
So I agree. As I'm listening to you, maybe you are convincing me, but I think it's actually tapping into my core belief, which is bigger isn't better.
No.
And for whatever reason, it's like a slippery slope where like it's a little bit, that guy's got a little bit of muscle. Okay, that looks good. But then that guy's got a little bit more muscle than that guy. So I think that looks good too. But you don't realize, because I do agree, I think Shane is almost too bulky at this point.
Yeah.
Where it's no longer like functional. It's kind of more just for show. It's fashion more than function. But to me, lean feels good. Like if you can eliminate the fat, great. And you want to have some muscle, but it needs to be productive for whatever you're doing. So if you're surfing, you could be too muscular where you can't get into, a pig dog stance anymore because your arms are too big or your thighs are too big or whatever. So I think that for me personally, get rid of the fat, cut as much fat as you can, be lean, be live, have muscle strength, but the bulkiness of it. For women too, they go through the same exact kind of thought process, bigger is better. And it's like, then you just look like an inflated,
Weirdo.
Barbie doll or something.
And I know to each his own here, but like, I like, a man in a good tailored suit. And if you see like a Dana White in his suit, right, where they're just like popping at the seams, I'm just like, that's not a look I want. And I guess some people like that. And if that's what you're into, I would say you're wrong. I would say you're objectively wrong. That is not a good look. It is too much. It's artificial.
Yeah. And Shane, I'm a huge fan of course.
Sure.
And it's so impressive, like his level of fitness at his age and all that. But then of course the next thing comes, which is now he's like selling private access to his workouts and all that sort of thing. And I'm like, oh man, please don't.
Is that coming?
Like,
is he already doing that?
He's doing it. He's doing it.
Yeah.
Like Instagram, I screenshotted it a couple of weeks ago. Instagram now has some other thing, kind of like an OnlyFans type dimension.
Oh, good. That's what we needed. We were missing.
Yeah,
that.
you can subscribe to their channel or something and then get private access. And so I clicked on it just to see what it was. And it was like, yeah, $5 a month, you get this level, $10 a month, you get that level. And I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Turns me off a little bit.
Yeah. Shane, come on, man. That fitness slope is certainly slippery. I mean, that's all it is. It is the slipperiest of slopes. Going to the gym once, you're already on the slippery slope. You're going big, quick, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. But in terms of the listener trying to prevent himself from being a fat slob, I think that's also a slippery slope of putting the picture on your fridge to do it. You need little moments of inspiration, but don't be weird. Don't be obsessive about it.
Yeah, and don't put a meathead on there too.
Yeah.
If you want inspiration, put a Paul Newman in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid on there.
Barrel or not, putting stickers on your board. And we're not talking to pretend that you're sponsored, but look, now that you're a Grateful Dead fan, in the way that you said last week, you'll be going to put a Grateful Dead sticker on your car.
Mm-hmm.
That stickers on the board.
Man, it's a tough one. I went through a phase in my life where I loved stickers more than anything. As a kid, you know, you go into the surf shop, those stickers underneath the glass, I think I had like an allowance kind of where I could get like maybe 1 or 2 sticker. I don't know. Like not a rich family, so had to, you know, choose my stickers well, which is always good, but stickered up everything. I was stickering up stuff up until probably 5 years ago when I just stopped. And so it's hard for me to say no barrel as much as I loved stickers. The problem with stickers is stickers age quicker than most of the time. Stickers age quicker than the thing you're sticking it on. So you're coming around a corner to some like ugly kind of blight on affixed to the thing you like sooner than you know.
Often I will age out of the sticker before I even get around to putting it on the thing.
Yeah.
It'll be sitting on my desk and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to use this. And like 3 months later, it's still sitting there and I'm like, I don't even like that thing anymore.
Yeah.
So,
stickers are, I mean, stickers are rough, but I don't want to say no barrel because I want the innocence, the innocent joy that stickers once gave me to return.
Well, stick with it then. No pun intended. I'm going to go no barrel just because I feel like the board is beautiful in its own, and also logo placement is always like kind of a thoughtfully curated thing from the shaper or designer. So leave it as is. I think it's already a work of art. Yeah,
okay.
Leave it be. Don't try to gussy it up and then just end up making it ugly. Okay, final barrel and as I alluded to at the beginning of the show, I'm going to be golfing this weekend, and I'm not sure. The conundrum for me is I can see myself loving it and I can see myself obsessing about it. And I've done it enough in the past to where I see the allure. But I'm getting roped into it with brother-in-laws and because they're into it and they're like, dude, like, come on, you can't just constantly deny our invitation. Like, let's hang out. But and I do want to hang out. My problem with it is 7 a.m. tee time, being away for 5 hours from the other things that I enjoy doing on a Saturday morning. And then it offsets the rest of the day too. Because it's like, I get home, I'm going to want a nap after a 5-hour golf outing, but the kid's going to want the attention at that point. Like and so I'm going to be too tired to do. It's just, it feels like it is mortgaging the rest of my day and the other things I enjoy doing in the day, even if I enjoy that one thing.
I hear you. Is it golf barrel or not? Going golfing.
Yes. Yeah. Embracing it. Embracing the lifestyle. Even.
To each their own. If you like golf, if that's what you have made your deal, I get it. I guess we all want and need hobbies. For me and my house, absolutely not. The time, money, all of it. I'm not a golfer. Nor will I ever be a golfer. I don't hate golf as much as I hate Avatar. I don't even hate golf. It's just not my thing. And I feel that knowing what your thing or not is important in this life, right? There's too much going on already, and days get too full with existing things. Adding something in is not chill, right? And so I encourage you to go golfing, of course, but not to like it, to actively dislike it as you're doing it.
Okay. The thing is, I want to be good at it. You know, like I'm not going to go in there and just like farm it. I want to actually try to be good and then beat them basically. So I'll report back next week. Cause if I do then do good at it, I'm going to want to do it more.
I mean, that's true, I suppose, but then that's fine, right? If you want to take a steely-eyed look at your life and think, you know what, I'm going to start golfing, but you got to replace something with golf. There's no room to add. So you'd have to replace basically surfing is what you'd have to replace.
It's a big, big commitment.
Yeah.
So,
but maybe it's time. Maybe you're moving to Palm Springs, playing golf.
I've fought it for a very long time now, but we'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm really trepidatious.
It's too much structure time. That's the beauty about surfing is you can go surfing anytime, right? Yeah. I can go surfing. I can wait for it to get good. I can say, you know, I got a window from 12 to 1. I don't care how it is. I just want to paddle. I'm going. Like the whole tee time thing and then the 5-hour commitment thing. Like I love a 30-minute surf session. Heck,
Me
I
too.
love a 15-minute surf session.
Yeah.
Where I look at the watch. I literally the other day I had 45 minutes. It takes me a minute to get to the beach. So I raced down, paddled out, caught one wave, rode it to the shore, ran back up, got home. Totally fun. Can't do that with golf.
Good. Okay. No answer. You're going no barrel. I'm going I'll reserve my barrel or not until next week.
Okay.
And let's sign off on a poem. Hello, David and Chaz. This is for the Grit. I sent you a poem back in 2021, and you read it on air. It was about the January 6th riots and paddling out on my new surfboard to get away from it all. Thank you again for reading that. Here's another poem about poor JWF, one Jonathan Wayne Freeman, who I really hope gets back to what we like about him, because I think deep down inside he's a good dude. Let's hope he gets back to what he's good at. Please don't read my real name on air. Call me Scott the Poet. So this is from Scott the Poet.
Scott the Poet.
Here we go. When it comes to content, it's laugh and surf for me. Riley and Cedarman, obviously, and Smith and Lee Scales and Spencer as well. And sometimes I'll listen to Ain't That Swell. And of course, Jonathan Wayne Freeman, who was funny as hell, but now I'm not sure because not all seems well. Deep in the culture, Freeman took himself lightly, talking of lineup bikinis and buttholes unsightly. He was open about his youth and he loved his wife. Freeman was part of our surf laughing life. All of a sudden, his genius was gone. He became more political. Oh my goodness, yawn. And now this new flap with the Simmons Acolyte, Hydrodynamica shines a needed spotlight. John's minions have ebbed, his posts have backfired, surfers have had it, everyone's tired. It's been sad to watch him dropping the ball, taking himself seriously, the biggest sin of all. John's losing the plot, boy is it showing. We all know exactly where each post is going. So this evening, with seawater still in my ears, I pour one out sadly to the funny years. Because the saddest thing of all in my mind is John's no longer warm and he's no longer kind. A shining star lost to the unread cesspit. But we've still got you guys. So keep work, Beach Grit. Keep work, Scott the Poet.
Thank you, Scott. Man, profound poem. Mostly the parts that I really took from that poem is the predictability is so boring. Like, it's just surprised me. Please don't. I guess me hating Avatar was probably fairly predictable, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a beating of a dead horse for sure. Not you, but all right. Well, I got to get out of here, check out of the hotel. Yeah, thank you very much. Until, I guess, Noble Rot on Monday.
Noble Rot on Monday. And if you're curious how we look when we record Noble Rot, head on over to YouTube. Noble Rot has its own YouTube channel now. It's trying to fill it in. Noble Rot at Noble Rot Pod over on YouTube. Yeah.
I'll go over there and subscribe today.
Sweet. It'll be one more. I'll have 12 subscribers.
All right. Until then.
Keep work.